This is Myra Elaine on the Buying Space channel. Today I'll be starting Revelation. Revelation is a complicated book, to say the least. We have done much as humans beings in the interpretation of Revelation. I used to watch the videos every so often of people who have ideas about who the Antichrist is, and who are the 10 heads, who are the 7 heads, which and the summits and NATO and all that changes around so much. And each election, it's almost hilarious to hear the proponents of each political party who are religious name the opposing political party's leader as the Antichrist. I mean, it just changes every 4 years who they predict the Antichrist is. And it's just never ending barrage of predictions and people with their own opinions about it. I may, on occasion, say some people believe that blah blah blah. Um, but I'm going to try to stay away from political characters as much as I can in reading Revelation and making my own predictions. Uh, you know, and I don't. When I watch those videos, I take them. Or listen to opinions about, or hear a sermon about Revelation, and the presenter. And unfortunately, preachers get political these days. And when I hear a preacher becoming political, I turn it out, because preachers, priests, rabbis, pastors, they all should be thinking on a spiritual level, not a political one. They should be leading their flock to Christ, not passing out campaign badges in actuality or figuratively. So, Revelation brings that out a lot in people, and leaders that should be focused on other things. So I'm going to try to do mainly straight reading. If I do break out into comparisons or statements that I'll phrase it as some people believe, because I take it all with a grain of salt. I don't know the answers. Anyone who says they know the answers about who these people are representing as far as the Antichrists and the nations and so on and so forth in Revelation, I do believe that they are being arrogant. The Bible does say that no one knows the day or the hour that Christ will return. And I wholeheartedly believe that. We might think that our society is going downhill, and I might agree with that in many aspects, but also they thought that right before the Civil War. They thought that before most of the major wars throughout the centuries, not just the ones that we've had since the birth of the United States of America. Through world history, there have been very difficult times for civilizations, Christian civilizations, since, all the after death Christian civilizations have been through um, events of fires and famines and pandemics, and all those things that are predicted in this book have all happened before. So when it is the point that it comes to an apex and all those things are maybe happening at once, and then Christ returns, no one knows that. And no one knows who the Antichrist is. And, you can have different opinions about it, but don't state it as fact. And I also have contemplated reading Nostradamus at the same time, or maybe other prophecies that are similar to the passages in the Bible. I haven't really researched it yet, but the thought crossed my mind that maybe multiple prophecies could be pointed to that are similar to or seem to be predicting the same thing. And I might get into a little bit of what other people are predicting in those instances, but it'll all be taken with great humility and not any arrogance as to me stating that this is the answer, because no one knows. It's stated right in the Bible. No one knows. So I want to start off with saying that the book is titled The Revelation of Jesus Christ in this older version of the King James Version of the Bible. In the Schofield, it says the Revelation of St. John the Divine, because St. John wrote Revelation around the year 96 AD. So, the book in this Bible, it does, confirm that John wrote the book, but it's just two different ways to look at it, even in the title. Some people think of it as the revelation of the Antichrist, not Jesus Christ, but it has more to do with Christ's return. But we will go through the period of having an Antichrist on the earth. And the book is, let me see how many chapters. 22 chapters long. So it'll probably take me about a month to read through Revelation. And during that month, I may be changing my strategy depending upon the passages. And so everything I said right now might change. So I don't want anybody to think that I've lied to them. But when somebody says something that they're going to do a thing a certain way and then they change it, that doesn't mean they've lied. Because in this moment right now, this is what I'm doing. But my attitude might change 5 minutes from now. So by the time I end up reading that last chapter, chapter 22, I may have taken a completely different tact, because I'm taking on more information all the time. I'm analyzing, and all this other stuff is happening in my life at the same time. So if I say I'm going to do something and then I don't do it, or I change gears, I haven't lied when I first said I was going to do something some way. It just did not come to fruition. We all make plans. It is my intent to handle reading Revelation this way right now. But if 3 weeks from now I do something a little different, that doesn't mean I'm lying right now. I do know that I myself change quite a bit from day to day. I'm a very analytical person, and that puts people off guard. Speaking of politics, one of the things that really gets my goat when we're having a political election is someone will quote a politician from 10 years ago and then put it next to a quote of what they're saying now. Well, you know what? A lot of stuff happened in that decade, and that person changed and evolved and learned. It's not dishonest to say something that contradicts what you said earlier in your life. That just means you are a thinking person and you have grown, you've learned, you've had experiences, and your opinion changes. 2 years ago at this time, I was an atheist. So obviously, what I said when I was an atheist is different from what I would say now as a Christian, a reborn Christian. So, um, so you can't like quote someone from something they've said in their past. I mean, I'm talking 2 weeks from now, I might say something different. And the book of Revelation is ongoing. And there's a reason that every election people pick a new Antichrist. It's kind of gotten to the point of hilarity that this is so predictable that this is always going to change. But the political environment is always going to change, and there's people that are going to use religion for politics. So, and that's going to be deeply embedded in the study of Revelation. Although I myself am not, I'm just going to say certain people believe. And I might see the similarities in the point of what it's saying in the passage or any other prophecy I might bring in, that how it could mean this. There are passages that absolutely can be pointing to certain events or certain people. And we shouldn't ignore those similarities, but also at the same time, we shouldn't say, well, this is it. The world's coming to an end. The joke about somebody asked Siri how much time is left. And they meant how much time was left for their noodles to cook. And Siri says 3 days, 5 hours, and 48 minutes. And the person realized that Siri was answering how much time is left at all. So, a lot of it is perspective. But I will be reading the actual words from the King James Version of the Bible, and the interpretations will be added as opinion on occasion. With comparisons. I'm hoping that I have the time to do the study and do it that way. So, all that being said, I'm actually not going to read any of the word today. I'm just going to post this to let everybody know that I'm beginning Revelations, and we will see how it goes. Pray for me, dear people.